Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. Check out my home studio mentorship at silvertunes.com classes. All right, good morning. So today I wanted to talk about the powers of just creation, just doing what we want to do. Imagine a world where you could come into it, as we have, and all of a sudden you decide that you need something. So what do you have to do? You got to start walking, and you start walking, and you do it. Imagine a world where you want to start learning how to ride a bike because your friends are doing it, and that's what you want to do. And eventually you start riding a bike. Imagine a world where you decide that you want to drive a car. And you go and you start taking the things by the control, and you go to the DMV and you register, you take your driving test, driver's ed. Before you know it, you're driving a car. Imagine you decided that you want to just kind of go to the beach and hang out with your friends, and you make a call to someone, and before you know it, you go and you can go to the beach and do these things. And the reason I say this is when you start to think about the idea that all these things that you've always done in life were based on an idea and a concept of wanting to do something, a desire to go forward and just do it and accomplish it. So imagine a world where you can decide, once you've made that decision, what it is that you actually just want to, be doing. And everything you do is moving you closer and closer and closer to that direction, as long as you start to really take the good with the bad and know that things are gonna, sort of happen, and, you may feel like you're being thrown off course and something's, not right. It's like, imagine all of a sudden if you wanted to sell your car and you're driving, I'm selling my car, and all of a sudden someone slams into your car. I'm trying to sell my car here, and that happens. Well, you can look at it as, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. I'm never going to be able to sell my car now, and the world is collapsing on top of me, and this is the most horrific thing that could ever possibly happen. Everyone's out to get me. This is all messed up. Or you can start to just not overreact to the situation and just kind of say, why did this happen? What was the reason? Was I supposed to be selling my car? Is that the sort of, right approach? I mean, you got to look at it like, do I accept the situation? Do I change the situation? Do I remove myself from the situation? It comes down to those three things once again. And you got to determine what to do once you cross that path. So as you're moving in the direction that you want to, just keep moving. The thing that I find the most that happens with artists is they just beat up on themselves too much. I mean, we've all gone through it, and I can say that I did it when I was younger, because you're not sure. You're not sure of what this all really means right now. You're not sure. Everyone sort of told you, and you got that voice in your head of how art is going to be hard, and can you really make a living at this, and how difficult it is. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they just said, oh, well, you're fortunate. I mean, you look like you've kind of done all right. It's like, no, I'm not looking like I've done all right. It's just like, it was all intended effort. And I made the decision that this is what I want to do. And so it's that mentality that keeps pushing artists back all the time from realizing that, if I just stick with this, if I just stay now, again, I got to be very cautious and say, you got to be realistic too, because unfortunately, there's a lot of artists out there who they're not at the level they need to be to work in the professional level. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. And then all of a sudden what happens when I say something like that, you go, oh my God, is that me? What if that's me? You know, and even these people who have skill even believe that too. You start to, oh my God, is that me? Is that me? And so you're constantly questioning that. So all you got to know and realize is that if you're feeling that insecure about yourself and your work, well, there's a reason for it. You're feeling insecure because you know that there is something that you got to do and there's something you got to change and improve upon. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is just don't let that stop any momentum. It's never going to you are never, ever, and mark my words on this, and I believe this and feel this to be true in my heart of hearts, that you are never, ever going to be 100% satisfied with what it is that you do. You just won't. And in all honesty, it's kind of a healthy thing not to be, because what happens if you become too complacent? What happens if you stop moving? What happens if you stop the flow? You know what happens. You start to stink. You start to get all moldy. You start to get algae. You start to just become a clump of nothing new doing anything, and that's it. Is that life? Is that the life you want? No, hell no. I don't want that sort of life. I know that I'm on this journey to experience it, to learn about it, to learn from it. And this happens to be where I am in my artwork right now. I know that I'm going to improve. Why do I know I'm going to improve? Because I want to. Because I'm deciding, like the day I decided I wanted to walk and ride a bike and drive a car and do everything else and get a job and you name it. The day I decided I wanted to do that, I ended up putting the ball in motion and eventually getting to that place that I wanted to be. Your independent comic strip, you know what I'm talking about. You know, your web comic you want to do. Hey, you may not get an audience at all, but are you doing it? That's the bottom line. I think if you do everything with an intent that there always has to be a big payoff, you're going to be disappointed, and it's going to stop you from doing the next thing, because every time you do something and you say, you know what, I'm going to try this. Ooh, I'm gung-ho, yeah, I'm going to do it, and all of a sudden, boom, it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to. What does that do? Usually that stops you from moving on to the next thing. Otherwise, it really slows down the pace. But what if all of a sudden you decided to change your mindset and decided, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do my web thing, I'm going to make my comic, I'm going to do my art book, I'm going to do freaking sculpt, I'm going to do all this stuff, I'm going to go gallery shows, I'm going to do all this stuff, and that thing didn't work out. Okay, that's okay, because that was just one of the things on my list, and now I'm going to go and try this thing over here and give that a whirl. Okay, that was fine, I learned something from that. And constantly you just keep going from vessel to vessel to vessel, and that's in ship to ship to ship. And that's what you're doing in your life. You're constantly going on a different ride. Could you imagine going to a theme park and just, sometimes you do. You go to Disneyland, you get to ride on one ride. I just paid $100 to get into Disneyland, and the lines are so damn long, I only got to go on one ride. How disappointing is that? You're pissed. You're pissed. Look at everything that I did, traveling here, doing all this, and family, it was expensive, all this to go on one ride. So you're not on one ride. And that's not what you want to do. You want to go on 50 rides. Why do you want to go on 50 rides? Because every single ride's a new experience. Every single ride offers something fun. And it becomes a thrill at that moment. And then it's no longer a thrill. And you just walk off of that ride and just like, whew, man, that felt good. That felt good. What's next? What's next? That's it. What's next? This is, again, it just don't look at it as what's next is a burden. Don't look at what's next as, oh my God, I got to go from this studio, now I got to work at that studio. Yeah, you do. You're going to work at this studio, and then you're going to work at this studio, and it's a nomadic life, and that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to work with this freelance client, and then you're going to move on to that freelance client. And when you're done with that client, you're going to move on to another client, and it's constant movement because you don't want to be stagnant. And when you realize that the movement is okay, And when you realize that the movement from one place to another is beautiful, it's an experience, it's to think of the new people that you're going to meet and the new things that are going to happen, and then those experiences, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So you know, you want to have your mindset, you want to set up a, you know, a desire, a goal, you know, what it is you're trying to achieve, and just move on in that direction, and that's it. And don't let, you know, just do it. Just do it. And just start. You're going to enjoy it. Again, everything is happening in your life for a reason. Yeah, that horrible thing that you think is just the worst thing ever right now. It's the worst thing ever. Why is that happening? Well, you got to dive deep. You got to dive deep. And you got to look into it and say, what's the reason? What's the purpose? I've gone through it 50 billion times myself. I know. I did. I don't know if I've told the story on when my first house that I bought. The first house that I wanted was a house that I really wanted. It had a detached studio. It had everything. It was in the neighborhood I wanted it. It was just like, this is the house. But you know what? It's expensive. And I can't afford it, and I don't know what's gonna happen. And listen, I'm not saying don't be stupid. Don't do things that you can't, you know, afford and pay back and all this other stuff. But I realized, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna settle for this house over here. This house is a lot smaller. It's not exactly what I want, but I don't know what the future's gonna bring and all this. I'm not doing that. And I decided at that moment, I'm okay. I'm going for this house. About a year, 2 years later, that original house that I wanted tripled in sale price, you know, which, you know, when I was getting ready to sell, I'm like, dang, you know. And then I realized after those 2 years, I said, you know what, man, I could have done it. I could have made those payments. We could have done it. We could have had that house. I'd still be living there today. But I didn't do it because of all the fears, and it was the worst thing in the world, and I really wanted that house, and I was upset. But did that ruin my life? No. I went on, I moved on, but what I did, I learned a lesson. It came 2 years later, the lesson, and sometimes that's what happens. It takes time before you start to realize what was going on. But what I got from that, and this is where you got to pay attention, was like I told my wife, I said, the next house I get, I am getting the house that I want, being reasonable, you know, but it's going to be the house that I want, and it's going to be, and I'm not going to let that fear of potential what's all going to happen in the future stop me from getting what it is that I sort of desire and I want to kind of have. And I didn't. And I got the house that I want, and I'm living in it. And I got my detached studio, and I got all the things that I wanted. And I've, you know, been here 12 years now. And there was no problem. But I learned from that. And that was a big lesson for me in my life, that I realized that just from my house, how does your house buying purchase reflect on everything else in your life? How it reflects on everything else in your life is you realize I've gone through that. I was that hardship before, that, you know, whatever your hardship may be. You may say that's no hardship. But, you know, listen, in the scheme of things, it's no hardship. But it's the thing is that you just come to, you put it into perspective and go, that instant happened to me because I'm going to change it now because, and you start moving into those different areas, and you just follow through and keep flowing and keep flowing. And it's, once again, it's not about working 50 hours a day and being crazy and nonstop. There's people that do that. And some of these people, either their kids are out of the house and growing up, or some of these people don't even have kids and they don't even have a family, and they have to invest all their time and energy because that's all there is their work. They have nothing more in their life but work, and maybe that's what fills them. That's what fills them. Maybe that's not what fills you. And you got to remember that you have that in turn. You have to go with your gut and your internal instinct, okay? All the time. You know that what excites you. You know when you turn on the History Channel and they're talking about the galaxy, you may decide in 1 minute, God, this is so damn boring. I have no interest in this. And you turn it off because you got no interest in it. So that's it. You got no interest in it. So you're not going to force yourself to get into that. So you find the things you're interested in, because that's what interests you. You like doing backgrounds? Great. You like doing backgrounds. You like drawing characters. You like drawing characters. Great. Follow that, and do these things, all right? Keep all this stuff in mind. I hope that sheds any light onto anything, moves you that much further forward. Remember, that's what we're just trying to do here, is just keep moving forward, keep the momentum going in a positive way, in a positive light. This is all here for you to experience. Enjoy it, embrace it, and make it a great week. Take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey, all right? So you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks. Whoa! Hey! Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go back.